Welcome to News 24's Politiki, our special coverage of the ANC's 54th National Elective Conference. We are speaking to key figures, to members of the ANC about this conference, what it means, what the expectations are. And joining me right now is one of the figures who's become central in the debates around the elective conference. I'm being joined by Carl Niehaus, spokesperson of the MKMVA and an NEC member of the MKMVA, I understand. Carl, thank you so much for joining us. Let's just first start with conference. Voting is underway. What are your thoughts and what are your expectations?
Well, obviously, I'm known to support Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, so I'm hopeful that she will emerge as the victorious candidate. But I think more than that, I hope that democracy in the African National Congress will prevail, and that whoever the candidate is who prevails here as the president will be able to pull the African National Congress together, and that all the members of the ANC here in a responsible way will work for unity, and after these elections continue to participate in the commissions and make sure that those commissions, which deal with very critical issues around organizational renewal, around economic policies, especially about radical economic transformation, will be successful.
Let's zero in on the campaign that you've been supporting. You've been seen side by side with Mama, as many call Dr. Nkosazana. Let's speak about your role even in that campaign. It's been questioned by a lot of people, and a lot of people have said you've tainted our campaign. What is your view of that?
Well, I'm not going to comment about that. As far as I'm concerned, I was asked by Umkhonto we Sizwe Military Veterans Association to do the work in this campaign. I've done it to the best of my ability, and I'm happy that I've done the work and that Comrade Nkosazana and the leadership of this campaign are happy with the work that I've done.
And what do you think her chances are? When people do the number crunching, it doesn't look like it's in her favor. Her supporters in terms of the provinces, the Free State, the Northwest and KwaZulu-Natal have taken knocks through the decisions by the courts in the lead up to this Congress. What are her chances still in your eyes? And as people have been lobbying for her, do you remain confident that she will emerge by the end of the day?
Well, I'm confident, and I think that we must make a distinction between the nominations that we've seen from branches and the number of delegates. Remember that every branch only has one nomination, but many branches have many delegates, and especially in KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga, and those areas where there's strong support for her, there are huge branches with many delegates, so it is very difficult to come to a conclusion that there's a favorite candidate at this conference on the basis of nominations. Ultimately, the delegates will speak, and it will be the votes of every single delegate that will count.
I just want to go back to the issue of you specifically. News 24 in conversation with ANC Women's League President Bathabile Dlamini yesterday. She was unhappy. She says South Africans were quick to forgive apartheid but are unable to forgive Carl for whatever transgressions you've done on your part in your past. Do you think she's fair in her comments?
I think she's fair. I think that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, again, a concentration on calling people, especially in the black community, corrupt. But when you look at Steinhoff, most of the media do not use the words corruption. They use the words of accounting problems and some kind of accounting mistakes that have been made. I think we have to be fair in South Africa. Where mistakes have been made, they have to be corrected. But in the future, we also have to move forward. I've committed myself to this campaign. I've given it my all, and I think that is what is important.
You've made some claims, and you're not the only one. There have been lots of claims about how business is funding the Cyril Ramaphosa campaign, white monopoly capital to be exact. But if that one campaign is being funded, this campaign also has team. This campaign also needs to be funded. Where's the money coming from? Should we then look to the Guptas to be funding Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma? Who's helping you do your work?
Well, I can tell you that the Guptas have not been funding the campaign of Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. This campaign has been mainly driven by volunteerism and people putting their own money from their own pockets on the line. This is a campaign where Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma has been very clear that she does not want to be into the pocket of every or any business community, but that she wants to run a campaign on the basis of principle. Volunteerism has been a central pillar of this campaign, and everyone knows, it's been all over the front pages of the newspapers, that this campaign is not the moneyed campaign, and in fact that people have worked hard without money in order to make this campaign succeed.
What's in it for you, though, as Carl Niehaus? You know, should Mama succeed, where do you see your career going? Do you remain in the MKMVA? Do you go into governance? What's in it for you? What are your hopes for your own personal career and political career in all of this?
Well, I did not participate in this campaign in order to promote myself. I participated in this campaign because I've known Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma for over 30 years. I'm very impressed with her as a person, and I'm especially impressed with her capability to implement policy. I've always believed, and I've been on record over many, many decades, that the African National Congress has to follow more radical economic transformation policies than it has followed up to now. I also believe that we've reached a critical point in the history of South Africa, a tipping point, where we will now have to make up our minds whether the ANC is going to continue to be a pro-poor party that is rooted in the Freedom Charter and the covenant of the Freedom Charter, that the majority of South Africans must share in the wealth of this country and that the land belongs to those who live and work it. And I believe that that decision has now come to the African National Congress. So this conference is critical, and the candidature of Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma is critical, and that is why I'm supporting that candidature, not in terms of my own personal advancement, but hoping that South Africa will come out of this a stronger country, more poor orientated, and able to breach that huge gap between the rich and the poor.
And if Ramaphosa wins, or maybe in the way you see it, if white monopoly capital wins the day, do you go back to political wilderness? What happens to you?
Well, that is going to be a decision on how the African National Congress deals with its various members and with its organizations. I'm a member of the ANC since I was 19 years old. It is now my 40th year in the African National Congress. I will continue to be a member of the ANC, and whatever the outcome of this conference is, I will give my support to the future leader of the African National Congress, as I've always done. I believe in democracy, and the democratic outcome will determine also my own position, and that is correct.
All right. Thank you so much for chatting to us. That was Carl Niehaus, MKMVA NEC member, and one of the chief lobbyists for Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, saying that no matter what happens, he'll remain in the ANC.